Hey, my loves. This episode is for the woman who is tired of trying to fix herself. The woman who has read the books, saved the quotes, bought the journal, started the routine, stopped the routine, felt guilty about stopping the routine, and then wondered if she needs a whole new routine just to recover from the old one. Basically, a lot of us. Personal growth can be beautiful, but sometimes it can also become another thing we feel we have to perform. We start with good intentions. We want to feel better, build confidence, heal, stop overthinking, and create a calmer life. But somewhere along the line, the pressure to grow can start to feel heavy. There are habits to track, books to finish, podcasts to listen to, journal prompts to answer, and morning routines to perfect. Before we know it, personal development starts feeling less like coming home to ourselves and more like a full-time, unpaid internship. But what if growth does not always have to feel intense? What if healing does not always have to look like deep emotional digging, difficult conversations, dramatic life changes, or completely reinventing yourself by Monday morning? Sometimes growth is softer than that. Sometimes growth looks like colouring one page, writing one honest sentence, choosing one affirmation, sitting quietly with a cup of tea, or letting your mind slow down enough to hear what your heart has been trying to say. That is what gentle personal growth is about. It's not about pushing harder. It's about creating enough space to reconnect with yourself in a way that feels kind. Part 1. When personal growth becomes too much. Personal growth often starts from a really honest place. You realize something in your life is not working, or you feel disconnected from yourself, or you know you're ready for a new chapter. So you start looking for tools, ideas, routines, and resources that might help you feel better. At first, that can feel exciting. You buy the journal, download the worksheet, listen to the podcast, save the quotes, and tell yourself that this time you're really going to become the version of yourself you keep imagining. There is nothing wrong with that. Wanting to grow is a good thing. The problem comes when we start to feel like pressure. Suddenly, the journal becomes something you feel guilty about not using. The morning routine becomes something you feel bad about not sticking to. The personal development book becomes another unfinished task, staring at you from the bedside table. Instead of feeling supported, you start feeling behind. Instead of feeling inspired, you start feeling like you're failing at becoming better. That is when personal growth stops feeling gentle and starts feeling like another measuring stick. You are not a project, you are a person. You are allowed to change without treating your current self like a problem. You are allowed to be in progress and still be worthy of kindness, rest, and patience. Gentle personal growth begins when you stop asking, how can I fix myself? And start asking, how can I support myself? Part 2. Growth does not always have to be intense. There is definitely a place for deep work. Sometimes we do need to journal honestly or have the difficult conversation, or face the pattern, set the boundary, or make a brave decision. Those moments can be powerful and life-changing, but not every breakthrough has to be dramatic. Sometimes we make growth feel heavier than it needs to be because we assume that if it does not feel emotional, intense, or exhausting, it does not count. We think we need to cry into a journal, uncover a major truth, or completely change our lives for growth to be valid. But growth can also happen through quiet noticing. It can happen when you realize you're tired and finally admit that you have to get some rest. It can happen when you notice that you have been saying yes when you really mean no. It can happen when you sit still for 10 minutes and realize your mind has been running at full speed all day. Sometimes growth begins with one honest thought. Maybe that thought is, I need more space. Maybe it is, I miss being creative. Maybe it is, I've been too hard on myself. Maybe it is, I want my life to feel softer than this. Those thoughts matter. They may not look dramatic from the outside because, they don't, but they can be the beginning of real change. Gentle growth is still growth. Slow does not mean stuck. Soft does not mean weak. Quiet does not mean it's not happening. Some of the deepest shifts happen when we stop forcing answers and give ourselves room to breathe. Part 3. The power of creative reflection. Creative reflection is any gentle activity that helps you slow down, reconnect, and listen to yourself without pressure. It might be coloring, journaling, writing affirmations, doodling, making a vision board, drawing your mood, choosing colors that match how you feel, or reflecting on one simple prompt. The beauty of creative reflection is that it gives your mind somewhere soft to land. It does not demand that you have to have everything figured out. It does not ask you to perform. It does not expect you to produce something impressive. It simply gives you your thoughts and feelings a little room to breathe. Coloring, for example, can be calming because it gives your mind a simple focus. You choose a color, feel a shape, let your hand move, and now you're breathing to slow down. You're not solving your whole life, you're just being present for a minute. Journaling can work in a similar way, especially when you stop forcing yourself to write pages and pages. One honest sentence can be enough. You might write, I feel tired today, or I need more space, or I'm craving softness. That one sentence can become a doorway into understanding yourself more clearly. Affirmations can also become emotional reminders. They are not about pretending everything is perfect. They're about choosing a kinder voice to practice. Instead of repeating, I'm behind, you might choose, I am allowed to move at my own pace. Instead of saying, I need to do more, you might choose, I can support myself gently. Creative reflection helps you reconnect with your inner world without turning that process into another job. It gives you a softer way to listen to yourself. Part 4. When a blank journal feels too much. Tasha's story. Imagine a woman called Tasha. Tasha is in one of those seasons where she knows she needs to reconnect with herself. She's still functioning, she's still working, replying to messages, doing the food job, and showing up for the people around her. From the outside, everything looks fine. But inside, she feels tired. Not just sleepy tired, but soul tired. She keeps telling herself that she needs to journal. She knows that there are thoughts and feelings sitting under the surface, but every time she opens her notebook, the blank page feels too big. She writes the date, stares at the page, puts the pen down, picks up her phone, and then feels guilty because apparently now she cannot even journal properly. But the truth is, she's not failing at journaling. She's emotionally tired, and the idea of digging into everything she feels is too much in that moment. So one evening, instead of forcing herself to write, she puts on soft music and starts colouring. No goal, no pressure, no deep emotional breakthrough required. Just colour. At first, she feels a bit silly. Then slowly, her shoulders drop. Her breathing softens. Her thoughts stop racing quite so loudly. After a while, one simple thought rises to the surface. I need more space for myself. That is it. Not a 10-page revelation, not a dramatic breakthrough, just one honest sentence. But that sentence becomes her next gentle step. The next day, she takes a proper lunch break instead of eating at her laptop. Later in the week, she says no to something she would usually say yes to. And by the weekend, she gives herself an hour with no errands, no chores, no guilt. And it started with colouring. That is gentle personal growth. Not forcing a breakthrough, but creating a space for one honest thought to rise. Part 5. Simple creative self-care practices to try. If this is resonating, I want to offer you a few tiny honest steps you can try this week. You do not need to do them all. Well, just choose one that feels supportive, realistic, and for this season that you are in. So number 1, colour for 10 minutes before bed. Let it become a calming ritual that tells your body the day is done. No screens, no pressure, no performance, just colour and quiet. Number 2, write one honest sentence in a journal. Not a full essay, not a perfectly worded reflection, just one sentence beginning with, right now I feel ... and let that be enough. 2, choose an anchor affirmation for the week. Try something like, I'm allowed to move at my own pace, or softness is still strength. Place it somewhere visible and come back to it daily. 4, create a calm corner. This does not need to be glamorous. It could be a chair, a blanket, a basket of pens, a candle, or your favourite notebook. The point is to create a space that signals safety and return. And 5, pair reflection with something sensory. So make a cappuccino, play a soft playlist, light a candle, or sit near a window. Let your self-care feel lived in and nourishing rather than being forced. How creative self-care builds confidence. Creative self-care may sound simple, but it connects deeply to confidence. Confidence is not just about speaking up in meetings, setting bold goals, or walking into a room like you own it. Confidence is also about self-trust. It's about listening to yourself, honoring your needs, and believing that your inner world matters. When you give yourself time to colour, write, reflect, or repeat a kind affirmation, you're sending yourself a message. You are saying, my thoughts matter, my feelings matter, my peace matters, my creativity matters. I am worth spending time with. That message is powerful, especially if you're used to being the reliable one, the strong one, the capable one, or the one who always keeps going. Many women are so used to holding everything together that they forget that they're allowed to have softness too. Creative reflection reminds you that you're not just here to function, you're here to feel, create, rest, grow, enjoy, and come back to yourself. This kind of confidence is not loud or performative. It is quiet and grounded. It is a confidence that says, I know how to support myself. It is a confidence that grows when you stop treating yourself like a problem and start treating yourself like someone worth caring for. That is why gentle, personal growth matters. It helps you build a relationship with yourself that is based on kindness rather than constant criticism. Summing up, you are allowed to grow gently. My love, you are allowed to grow gently. You are allowed to heal without rushing. You are allowed to build confidence without making everything intense. You are allowed to choose colour, creativity, prompts, quiet, and softness. You are allowed to come back to yourself in a way that feels kind. This week, ask yourself what gentle growth would look like for you right now. Not impressive growth, not perfect growth, Not the version that looks good online. Real, honest, gentle growth. Maybe it looks like colouring for 10 minutes before bed. Maybe it looks like writing one sentence about how you feel. Maybe it looks like choosing one affirmation for the week. Maybe it looks like creating a small, calm corner with a notebook, a pen, and a little space to breathe. Maybe it looks like asking yourself one simple question. What do I need more of this week? If this post is making you realize you need a softer way to reconnect with yourself, I created Blossom Within for exactly that. Blossom Within is a mindful coloring book for reflection, calm, and personal growth. It is filled with affirmations, quotes, journal prompts, and calming designs to help you slow down, breathe, and come back to yourself. It's not about doing personal growth perfectly. It's about giving yourself a gentle space to reflect, reset, and reconnect. It is for the woman who's ready to stop forcing her growth and start allowing herself to blossom softly, one mindful page at a time. Because sometimes growth begins quietly. Sometimes it begins with one page, one color, one prompt, one breath, one honest thought. And soft things can still be powerful. With love, Nefe. Bye.